Hello everybody, I hope that everyone's doing well. We are here with the timeless reading. Before we get started, let's set the intention for this to be a space where everyone allows themselves to feel seen and validated, and ultimately for this to be a safe space and a healing space in alignment with the highest good. There's an evaluation happening here. Okay. Started off with the devil. The next card out is the, sorry for the glare, the Ten of Swords. This means putting something to rest, that the devil is not to be taken lightly at all. When it comes to the devil and whatever that represents, particularly for each of us, this is like the hardest thing to break yourself away from. It's like the most difficult thing to stop doing. And the only way basically that you can transcend this truly is by recognizing like what this thing was doing for you and how you are actually going to get that in a way that will be lasting for you. And some of us like spend our whole lives trying to figure out like how to get that in a tangible way that's outside of this. And some of us don't even accomplish that within our own lifetime. So just know that like this isn't something to be taken lightly. This would be like a huge accomplishment. And even if you're not the one that ended things and it was like somebody else, it still is very important here that the breaking away is happening. So whether it was like you that ended things or the other person that ended things, or like you can't get that thing anymore and that's why like it's inaccessible to you, regardless of how this all is going down, there is an ending here. Like there is a finality to this, at least at this point. In this moment. But this would be like the most difficult thing to break away from, because the devil has you convinced that it's going to be supplying you with what you need. So to be able to see through the illusion of that, it really takes you wanting the truth and you being like committed to being honest with yourself and aligned with your integrity. So yeah, this is like one of the most challenging karmic cycles that we face in whatever face the devil wears for you. And this wouldn't be something easy to pull away from either. You get like withdrawal from pulling away from this thing, you know, like regardless of what it is for you. It's like that feeling of not having the pacifier anymore, like not having that thing that you felt like soothed you or calmed you, like whatever crutch it was that you were using. And it is like also too, the reason that we gravitate towards the devil, again, like whatever that looks like for you, whatever face it wears, the reason that we gravitate towards it is because we are looking to like find equilibrium and to balance something that's out of balance, and the devil can be like an easier way to do that, even though in retrospect, looking back at it, it's like I put myself through hell going through that. It can be like something really challenging that we end up pushing ourselves through, like trying to find like that missing piece or the thing that completes us, or again, like whatever this represents for you, whatever it's represented by for you. So to like pull away from that thing that you think is going to be like it for you, and to be like, no, it's not going to be, and to be like that honest with yourself, like to be that committed to truth. It's not for the faint of heart at all. And some of you, this may not have been your decision, but I'm seeing this be a good thing. Because the devil will keep you chasing your tail. That's what's being reflected on right now. This is also like the devil is too good to be true. It's like there's always some hidden agenda with it as well. It's always something that's going to get you stuck. It's like making a wish when you find a genie, and then like you think that you're being very clear when you make the wish, and then the genie has some like convoluted way of like presenting to you. It's like what the monkey's paw is coming through. Interesting. So, okay. Moving forward. Whatever this is for you, it may be trying to reconnect with you now. So there was this thing that you got caught up in, and I'm seeing you have space away from it where you've like reflected on it and been like, I don't know how I even got out of there. That was like really unhealthy for me. I feel like it like took me out of my character, or I feel like it really showed me things about myself. I feel also that I kind of like gave my power to that. Like whatever ended up happening within that cycle, I'm seeing like you found this thing that you became very, very attached to in a way that had you feeling like the answers were going to be found outside of yourself. So it creates like a dependency. Like that's what the devil does. Then there's this breaking away that happens, regardless of how that ended up happening. Like what was the catalyst for that? The breaking away did happen. And then I'm seeing there be this reflection of, it's like a review of what had been going on within that cycle. Like that was the thing. Like why was that the thing for me? Like what did I think I was going to find within that? Like what was it promising me, or what was it providing me with that's the thing that caught me? Like that's the thing that got me, that's the thing that pulled me in. Like what was that for me? And it's going to be like an individual journey for each of us. Sometimes it can be nice when we have overlap, because we can talk to another person that has like a similar thing to us, and we can get a better understanding and also feel that camaraderie as well when we connect with another person, depending on what this is for you, and if you are able to find that, like to have the blessing of finding that, like a support group, something like that. Again, depending on what this is. But what I'm seeing is that it's like this thing is now talking back to you. So after you like found yourself in this really whirlwind of a cycle, you pulled away from it, you sort of like reviewed the content of what had gone on there and like the intensity of all of that, because I'm seeing something very intense here. Then I'm seeing that it's like the devil is talking back now. Like the devil may be reaching out to you in some way. So this can be like that thing coming back and being like, do you miss me? Do you want me? Like something like that. Are you having dreams about this? Some of you, you're like actually getting, some of you, this is a person and you're hearing from them. You may take your time before saying something, because what I'm seeing is that like things have become much more stable for you since breaking away from this. The way that I'm seeing the breaking away happen, it's like, I forget the word for it, but it's when rocks, it's like a fissure in the rocks when they like slide apart from one another. You know, I'm thinking of like slate, how it'll kind of like slide off from the other piece. That's what I'm seeing here. It's kind of like an unwrapping even. But that's what it was like breaking apart from this thing. It had been like a solid structure energetically that you were like connected to, and then these pieces like you slid off of it. That being said, you may still have some like unresolved feelings that are connected with this. But it's something that you're becoming more and more aware of. Be mindful of what you are allowing to manifest right now, because what I'm seeing is that there's a little bit of fogginess. There has been immense review of what had gone on in that cycle, but I'm not seeing it be a completed process yet. And within that little haziness, that fog of confusion, it might sort of leave the door cracked for this to slide back in. And that's something that you want to be mindful of, because there can be a feeling like you're still holding on to this a tiny bit. For those of you that this is a person that you got into a cycle with where you were like, that was really intense, it was really unhealthy, that wasn't something that, like, that didn't represent a healthy, like, co-regulating scenario for me. Like, that's not the type of relationship that I would look at and be like, wow, I'm really setting a great example by being in that. You know, it's something that you would look at and really feel like it brought out your shadow, which there's no shame in that at all. It's just like more grist for the mill as far as self-awareness for you. So there's no need to hold on to feelings like that. But it would be something that you look at and be like, I don't feel like I'm in my highest light when I connect with that thing. But it's also like grounds for progress as well, like really fertile grounds for progress. However, if you feel like you learned what you needed to learn within that, and you don't want to go back into that sort of cycle, you do have the option not to. But for some reason, I'm seeing like a little bit of like a lack of closure or like a little bit of uncertainty here. And it seems like, especially for those of you that it's like a body attached to this, like a person or somebody that will connect you back with that thing, like whatever form this takes, especially like if it's, yeah, it feels like through a person. They would have like a means of reaching out to you, I'm seeing, and they're like, I know things ended, but, and they may be bringing up things to try to get you in a mind frame of looking at how ideal this could be. Like, remember when we had these goals together and this was gonna happen and like we wanted to go on that adventure, and like bringing up all of like the highlights, it feels like. Because I feel like this person, they're definitely trying to like remanifest something with you. However, this would not turn into, from what is being shown to me, basically the biggest point, even though this is not going to be the popular message, when you really connect with yourself, you would know this would just be confirmation. There would be a slight, when this thing connects back with you or attempts to, what you will find missing is you feeling safe. You may feel excited, you may get butterflies, you may experience anxiety, you may feel kind of panicked, not know what to do, but what's going to be missing is a feeling of tranquility and safety. And that's how you're going to know that something here is up, because this is definitely something as well that messed with your nervous system. So this person is trying to manifest something, re-manifest something with you, because you've already had a cycle here. And if you're in a spot where you still haven't like fully let go of the dream of what was going to be manifested with this person, like if you're still holding on to it even a teeny tiny bit, this may begin to appeal to you, where you get caught in that fantasy again, where you're like, maybe it can be different this time, maybe it's going to be. But the biggest thing that's being pointed out is your guide saying it's going to just be a repeat cycle for you. And there's no right or wrong when it comes to what you want to do here. Like, it's not wrong for you to go back into it. It's not wrong for you to move away from it. It's not right for you to go back. It's not right for you to move away. It's just like, if we put it all out here and show you all of the options for you, like what seems most preferable, go with that. There's potential here for you to have a recreation of that cycle if that's something that you want to go through, but just know it's going to be very similar to what you went through in the past, and it will probably be a shorter span than last time as well, because that's usually how I have seen at least karmic cycles take place. Usually the first one is like a longer duration, and then the ones that precede it end up being like shorter and shorter, kind of like packing a punch in a shorter amount of time. It reminds me of like when you drive somewhere for the first time and it feels like it takes forever and a day to get there, and then the next time you drive that same route, it's like, wow, that ended up being so much faster. It's like that sort of situation when you get into a cycle. So this is going to be a repeat cycle potentially if you open that door again with this person, unless you can sort of like let go of the shared dream that you had within this space, because that shared dream was not realistic and it's not something that will manifest. But you admitting to that and you being honest with yourself about that is going to be the key to like whether or not you're ready to let go of this yet. And if you are in a space where this has like totally sunken in and you don't need to experience it again to have it really consciously manifest for you, then you're going to be saying no, is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing that you're going to be like, no, like what you're offering me, what you're actually offering me, not what you say you're going to offer me, but like what your behavior is going to offer me is not going to resonate with me. It's not something I'm going to be into. Because I'm seeing your guides be like, this isn't going to be a fun cycle for you. If you end up going into it, for the most part, there's going to be like unpleasant things that you will experience if you move through it. It'll be like last time. That's just what's being said moving through this. But what's to be worked out right now is basically this like fogginess of like, why hasn't this fully clicked into place yet, and getting into a place where that is settling in. I'm going to pull one more card. Yeah, what you want to do with this. Do you want to go through the door or not? For some of you, this is potentially going to turn... If you do open the door, you may enter back into a relationship with this person. But what I'm getting to is that for some of you, you're manifesting a different type of relationship that I'm seeing you're going to be getting into. But it's not here yet. This would be, I'm hearing an old customer, a tough customer. Like, you know that saying? So I'm seeing this be somebody that you'd be familiar with. Yeah, what I'm seeing is that later down the line, I'm seeing another connection. I'm seeing another connection that's going to come to fruition that you have been manifesting, but it just hasn't materialized yet. Okay. All right. I will say this, when this person first reached out to you again, like after everything ended and you guys, I'm seeing you guys like broke contact or something like that, like you weren't actively communicating with one another. When they first reached out to you, it may have been like really exciting for you, but then I'm seeing something, you like get really excited, but then I'm seeing like all of the like color be pulled out of it, and it's kind of like reality setting in of sort of what this is, because it could have like re-inspired certain things within you, but then I'm seeing there be this lack of clarity, and that is your intuition saying this is a yellow light here, a yellow light. Otherwise these things wouldn't be popping up for you, like the Seven of Cups wouldn't be here in this way. And that's really where things can get, that's where things can get complicated, because it's like the intention starts to become skewed and unclear. But I'm definitely seeing it be, it's encouraged for you to turn this down, because your guides are saying that it's not going to be the thing that you hope for it to be. So eventually, if you're not recognizing it now, you're going to recognize that it's not resonating with you. But there can be also excitement that you're feeling, because you're like, well, it's an opportunity, you know? And again, there's no right and wrong with what you want to do. It's just what you prefer to do here. But just be realistic with yourself, whether you take this on or don't take this on. The last thing you want to do is take this on and be unrealistic and think it's going to be something that it's not, because that's where we really get into hardships. And that's really what the seed of the suffering that we experience when we're not being honest with ourselves and being honest about what we're seeing, and we're sort of smacking like a fantasy over top of it and pretend that that's what's going to go on, rather than actually paying attention to the signs and clues and synchronicities and what our intuition is telling us, and these messages that we're receiving, all of that. So with that, we will end it here. I would like to thank everybody for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I'm wishing everybody love and light and healing, and I hope to catch you guys next time.